Yeah, I hear someone. Right? Oh. 你的4月啊？我们是2个月2个月。你帮我问一下露露好了，你帮我问一下露露。我只有记得大的 team 了，你大概你问一下露露好了，你帮我问一下露露。好，OK，谢谢，拜拜。Okay, Jackie, you can. I think it's your microphone problem, Jackie. Yeah, I hear someone typing. Maybe I think Jessica. Hello, Rubel. Are you online? Jessie, can you hear me right now? Hello, Jessie. Jessie, can you hear me? Hello, Jessica, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So the voice is okay, right?
Can you hear me, sir?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Jackie, I got you. Okay, Jackie, I can hear you right now.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, great. Okay, Rubel, are you online? Rubel, are you online? I can see your image. I cannot hear Rubel. Okay, Rubel, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you right now. Okay, so everyone got online. Okay, so any question before the class? Do you anything need to discuss? Did you hear any news from the JCMIT conference?
No, sir.
Okay, no. Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, so last week, Jessica provided us a paper about the conditioning prescription. I think that is a good example that what's the next stage of what we can do in the hospital. Then, but I think that paper is only list. I think the paper lists 4 main advantage of using creating the domain. For example, that like the patient or the doctor, when they see the medication, the prescription, they can know why is the reason for he having this prescription. So that paper is only list why we we have the need to develop that kind of condition-based prescription. So I think that is a good rationale that we can create a system like that. And so, but it didn't talk about the detail how to implement that. So today I want to use the VA hospital example that to introduce how to create an internal is a enterprise level health information system. And give you an example, if you are going to create a system like that, how you can prepare that. I'm not sure whether you familiar with the VA. That's the full name is the Veteran Affairs. That's mean the military service. Like because I think let me open the PowerPoint. Okay, so everyone can see the slide?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So everyone understand the VA, the Veteran Affair is you mean every nation, every country they have the soldier, and they have a special hospital for the soldier. So the VA in Taiwan like 三种 or 荣种. This kind of tri-service in Taiwan is the tri-service military hospital. That is for every country, most of country, like in US, in Taiwan, we have that kind of veteran affairs system. I think the famous example is during the Katrina hurricane. When in 2005, the Katrina hurricane, they destroyed the New Orleans. All the hospital were destroyed by the Katrina hurricane. At that time, only one hospital survived. It's the VA, because the VA they have a robotic IT informatics structure. So I remember during that time they have three major, I think it's three major repository. So even the hurricane destroyed the New Orleans region hospital, but they still have the data from other regional data center. So in that case, I think it's from that natural disaster. The American president at that time is the George W. Bush. He think the electronic health record is quite important for that kind of we call can survive in the natural disaster. So for the health informatics system care, the VA is the VA is kind of good example for building the health information system. And also at that time I'm from Utah, and the University of Utah, we have a very close relationship with the VA at the Salt Lake City. So many of our faculty in the University of Utah, they also joined, they also a part of employee of the VA. So we have a very close, I mean, the University of Utah, the medical informatics department, we have a close relationship with the VA. So today, this set of slides, we are going to introduce the VA, how they create their health information system, their architecture, how they formulate their goal and the component. So you can take a look at that. If you are going to develop a system and in place in the health information system, that what kind of step you need to take. So we will talk about some idea about how there's some introduction and talk about the legacy data. You will hear the legacy, this term again and again, and because in hospital, we always are adapting a new system. And for example, like in Shanghai Hospital, if we are going to create a new system, then the problem is we cannot just shut down the old system directly. So usually the best way is we create a new one, and we will create an interface that can communicate with the legacy system. Legacy, sometimes we mean old. It means the previous system. So that's particular for the HIS. We always have a new system, then we need to deal with the legacy system. So at that time, later we will talk about how we deal with the legacy data. Then again, just like the 3M, I think previous lecture we talked about the 3M. They have a terminology service and similar, because the VA they have strong relationship with 3M. So internally they also have their own enterprise terminology system. Then we will talk about the component of the ETS and how to operate and how to maintain it. Okay, and give you some sort of idea. So the VA is belong to the Department of the VA Administration. Then like I introduced you that VA, they have a big electronic health record system. In this case, they have a version called Vista. I think if we talk about the electronic health record, the Vista is one of the famous electronic health record system. And you can see that totally in United States, they have 157 healthcare facilities and also have more than 800 ambulatory care. So it's kind of quite big. They have a very it is a big chain. So you can imagine that VA is they have a special unique environment because they are owned by the government. It's belong to the military. So everything is meant we can say that they only have one boss, the president, and also the head of the military. And they say everything just need to the same and should be exchanged to each other. Then there's no argue. Not like the private hospital or public one. Like even in in the TMU, we have 3 affiliate hospitals, but even the president, the principal, they cannot force everyone to just use the same structure to exchange data. But the VA, they have that kind of privilege that they have one boss. And you know, the military, if the boss decided thing, then everyone just need to follow. So VA has a good position that they need to exchange data between each other. And I think the Vista, I remember originally is the open source project. Then is adopted by the VA. Then they develop lots of sub-component system based on the Vista. So if you are interested about the detail about the VA HIS system, you can take this. So again, the main function of the Vista and is to store all the clinical health information. They provide centralized data repository. I remember there are 3 main data repository to hold all the health record. Even in the South Korea, you know, in the Japan and South Korea, they all have the U.S. Military base. So they can easily, every soldier, if they move from one base to another base, they can easily access their data from all over the world. So that means, in that case, the data need to be shared across the whole enterprise. So we know that the standard will become a very important thing. So like I previously said that not only the semantic part, the structure part, like the model is also important. So here give you some statistic about the VA VA system. This based from 2005, is a little bit long ago, but I guess it's not too much different. So they store some allergy information, the vital sign, demographic, the outpatient, and there are around more than 200 million records. Then the set of code, that means the vocabulary. In the Vista, that means some control vocabulary that's stored in the Vista. They are like, I think for the drug name, for some anatomy, disease name, that kind all belong to code. So totally there are 6,000 set of code stored in the Vista. And previously I talked about in health record, we can store not only the text information, we can also store the survey value, like the yes or no. Okay, so you can see that there are around 4,000 fields. They are stored in the checkbox style. Okay, but just here give you a rough idea that how complicated the health information data in the healthcare system. So we do need a system to store all this kind of model. Okay. So here it just give you a number of how many patients, how many older image. That's quite huge. This structure need to deal with this. Another thing I want to share is because one of my senior, he also graduated from University of Utah. He is currently the leader of the VA system, the leader of the electronic health record of the VA system in Taiwan. So they are remodeling the Taiwan's VA's electronic health record. So I think not only US, I think all the military service, they do care about their infrastructure. So they want to create the electronic health record that can be used for all over the nation. So the terminology service, I think that is the heart of the VA system. So in VA, they provide a program office for the maintaining the terminology service, not like the usual usual IT office. For example, in Shanghai Hospital, we only have a office called the IT informatics office, but they do not have a very fine destination for the job. But in VA, the terminology service is the core of the all development. So the VA, the terminology service office, they will take care about they need to store the following data, like the administrative data. Okay, so you know we need to like the demographic of the patient, billing, that kind of information. In that case, we call the administration data. And of course, the clinical data. Then they need to the VA system need to interoperable with other external entity. For example, the Department of Defense (DoD). I think the VA is under the Department of Defense, the DoD, and the Center of CDC. Then later we will talk about why they need the maintenance of the terminology. Okay, so you can see that from the bottom to top, the bottom is the terminology model and the content. So the content is in all this vital sign, clinical data, all the information from the patient. Then the model, we previously talked about, we said that because when we need to describe the data, the structure is very important. Because if you only just send out a set of text number without mentioning the meaning, the structure, the computer cannot understand. So I think if I rephrase it, I will use the syntactic and semantic. The model is referred to the syntactic, and the content means semantic. Okay, so if we want to share the data, we need to have the syntactic and semantic. So here we were based on the terminology service. So here is the terminology service. So you can see that here we have the 5 major core components. The first one is the clinical data standardization. So those things are the common, I mean, mostly for the physician and nurse. For example, the allergy, the problem list, and the tertiary care, that kind of information. That is the first segment. Usually when we see the admissional, progressional, nursing chart, those kind of information is belong to this category. I think I mean, that's common sense that we have those clinical data. And the second big chunk is the administrative data. For our medical informatics, we seldom discuss this field, but for the operational use, that the administrative data is also very important, like how use like the race. In Taiwan is okay because in Taiwan we don't differentiate people by from which kind of race, but in US, I'm not sure whether they will document you are Caucasian, you are afraid Africano or Filipino. I'm not sure, but I remember they document that kind of thing. But this all belongs to the administrative data. So that provides some fundamental data of information. Then based on those things, we will generate some data like the laboratory information or the clinical decision support system. They are all, we can create some component on that. So for example, the Jessica previously, she is interested in creating some drug, some smart drug system. Then actually the system will implement as a core module here, but the core module that will interact with other information. For example, when the smart drug system, the prescribing system, they will need to know the gender of the patient, the age of the patient, sort of information. So they, if we create a clinical decision support system, then we need to collect the information from other core module. So then we need to do the interoperability with other subsystems like the HDR, clinical health information dictionary, then the LDS, I'm not quite sure this. Then the terminology maintenance, because like I think the previous lecture I talked about the LOINC. We all know that currently, like the SNOMED, LOINC, ICD, we are still actively developed. I think the ICD is the best example for that. We all know that mostly worldwide we are using the ICD-9 system, but the US, they are thinking to move the ICD-9 to 10. Originally, their roadmap is, I forgot the roadmap time. I think it's around 2015 or something. But the president, they say they need to move all the ICD-9 to ICD-10 because the ICD-10, they provide a more specific information and more fine granulated information, but it just costs too much. So I think the slogan for that is the minimal use. The minimal use, I think all of you heard about the minimal use before. The meaningful use is they want the health record can be used for generating the knowledge. So, but it just costs too much. So far I know that in Taiwan, I think that is the strength of Taiwan. Taiwan is like the military boss, but when the boss, like our Department of Health, they say go, then we just go. So every hospital just go. But I don't think we have the good quality about the IC moving from ICD-9 to ICD-10. I think we don't have the good quality of that. So if you are interested about that kind of thing, or if you are interested about making money, have your own company, you can think about creating a coding company for providing a service for transforming the ICD-9 to ICD-10. Personally, I think that is a good idea for to start a company. So all of this, they will require the standard and the terminology service. So here is give you some architecture about, previously we show you the health system architecture. Then this is another architecture map of the VA system. But but mostly they are look similar. They just need to store the clinical data, then we need to care about the administrative. Then you can develop a lot of sub module. Then you need the terminology service to take care of the interoperability. So any question about that? Okay. So you can see that in the enterprise level, the terminology service they need to consist of the following system. They need the terminologist. I don't think in Taiwan we so far I know that we very few people were trained as a terminologist, and I think we already give you some course about the terminology, so you will know the terminology is not quite easy. Then some functional analysis, then technical analysis, data standardization analyst, and software developer, and the technical writer, project manager, communication analyst, and software quality assurance analyst, and project planner. I think in Taiwan, maybe probably most place they only have the software developer. The software developer, they do everything. Then probably there are one or two senior software developer. Then they will become a project manager. So in Taiwan, I believe in my the IT office in Shanghai Hospital, we only have the software developer and the project manager. Then we only have these two kind of person. They just try to create the whole system. So not mention talking about the quality. Nobody care about the user friendly and the develop like the clinical decision support system. So that's some important direction we try to do that. But personally, my personally thinking, there are something can be think in the future that I think the project planner and the software quality assurance analyst, that is something important, because even we complain the IT development of the healthcare system in Taiwan, but right now the administrative level, the administrative staff, they notice that the software quality is very important, because the physician in my hospital, every day they just criticize about why the physician entry, order entry, the arrangement, and or why the prescription system, why they just can be smarter, then can save more time on using it. So that the software quality assurance, I think that is something you can think about that. The next, if you go back to your country, I think we already have enough software developer. Then we have people they know how to do the project manager. But like previously, I talked about the terminology use. We need evaluation process, then we can improve it. So how to improve it is the key point. That so that is something I'm thinking that if you want to train yourself become a information, then that's something you can try. So we don't actually we have a course we can cover the how to make the standardized for administration data, but that is mostly focused on based on the United system. They talk about the CPT code and the NHRQ code. They have a different code or try to standardize the zip code, country, state, those information. But I think that is not too practical in Taiwan or for your country. So we didn't. That is not quite practical use for that. So I just give you some uh, idea about that. And we talk about a lot of the clinical data standardization. We know the vocabulary, the ICD-9, SNOMED, those information. Uh, then for those clinical data, we do need a HDD. In here, uh, in the VA, they call HDR, the Health Data Repository, and in 3M system, they call HDD, the Health Data Dictionary. Then it create different, it store the information. Then later we will explain. There is another team called Domain Action Team. They will later we will introduce how they employ their domain action team try to establish the domain. So yeah, I think sooner or later we will reforming our health IT system. So here is something that this kind of domain action team can help us to reevaluate the problem, then how we create system. So they also have the, I think it's one is the action team, one is the implementation team. I think that action team is more like a evaluator. So they will do a survey, they will watch the system, they will make conclusion and make suggestion. Then the implementation team is in charge of developing system. So then after, if they think one domain is needed, then they will create a standardization. Then they will create the HTTP for that. For example, the Jessica, he want to create a condition-based prescription system. Then we utilize the condition prescription is important. Then we will identify what kind of, for example, he is going to create a smart prescription system. Then it need to list, Jessica need to list what kind of information he need. For example, he will need to know the age from the patient. Then they need to know the allergy history from the system. Then they will need the most recently the renal function data. And for example, then he lists maybe 15 data elements. So in the HDR system, they need to create maybe is a table or a kind of dynamic table. Then the HDR or the centralized repository need to fit the data containing those 15 data elements to support her clinical team support system. Then after aggregating those data, then he can use her developed clinical team support engine to give the place, for example, the dosage or the drug, or for example, we have different kind of antibiotic for the old patient. so the system can, based on the information, make the so that's the idea is, when we create a system, in here they call a domain, then they need to analyze what kind of data need to know, need to be used. Then they will need to create that in the DPR. So of course, everything if they negotiate with the legacy data, mostly you need to read the data from the legacy data. So you need to deal with the legacy system. So here is, I think we have some similar chart from the health system. That is all the subcomponent system from the HDR. We have the clinical procedure medicine, consultation, laboratory, dental, immunization. Yeah, we have all these kind of subsystems. Then they need to talk to each other. Okay. So I think the following slide is not, we don't, I think that is a good example that in the health system, we don't cover that. The health system, they only talk about the system itself, but they don't discuss how you create a system, how you planning a system. I think here, this one is a good example. Then we just, for example, we like the Jessica, he want to create a smart prescription system. Then actually we will need to create a domain action team to solve this task. So so if we want to create this team, then if we want to propose to our president, I think there are following thing we need to do. The first, we need to review all the reference data from our hospital. Then we need to look at the current standard. For example, we are proposing, we need to aggregate all the drug information. Then you know, in Shanghai Hospital, Wanbang Hospital, and the TMUH, they all based on the different internal code. So if you want to create a smart prescription system, then how we deal with the terminology. So that is something, if Jessica, she is in charge to create a system, then he need to make a recommendation, and he need to persuade. For example, after the evaluation, he should look at the code from the Shanghai, Wanbang, and the TMUH. She found out the TMU, maybe the Shanghai hospital, they have the most code and can cover two other. So she can decide it, she can use the Shanghai drug set for the major dictionary, then use the two other hospital code to for as a supplement. Okay, so I think this is the idea. If you want to create a system, or you need to employ a domain action team, then there are here those things you need to be reviewed. So the domain action team, this more a little bit like a project manager. The first you need to report to the stakeholder. There are some, you need to propose your project. You need to mention your higher functionality requirement. So after your boss approve those system is valuable, then they decided to do, then after pass the brainstorming stage, then after all the planning and the roadmap, create a roadmap, then they will move to the implementation stage. So here is a little bit like the software development. The architecture, they will think about all the blueprint for the whole system. Then the implementation, I think we can say that it's more like building a house. You need to draw the architecture first, then the worker can create a house for that. So the implementation team, they will create a system based on the recommendation from the domain action team to create the thing. Okay, but I think mostly, even when I work with I think the Intermountain Healthcare, they have a architecture like that. They at that time, their team member, there's some certain stage they work with the GE General Electronic. They have a project manager team. They developing system like that. But I talked with the U of U IT office. Actually, they don't have this kind of component for their IT office. Usually, just they are more like a subsystem oriented. For example, if one team they need to create like a smart drug entry system, then the team member they need to do all of this. They need to do the architecture. They need to do the implementation. So, but I think this is some good idea for making system. But I guess the more important thing is this need to be enterprise level. Then they can have a whole team. They need to take care about the whole design, the implementation. So I think for example, in Shanghai Hospital, I guess we don't have enough people to hire. Then we have a domain action team. Then we also have the domain implementation team. I remember my senior, he in charge of creating the military, the Taiwan's version of VA system. They only have 10 people for that. So the 10 people, including the DBA and the software development, and also need some the clinician or nurse for evaluation the practical usage. So if we are going, so after for example, the boss, they approve, okay, so we want to create a smart drug prescription system. Then here is some information, some step we need to care about. For example, we need to care about, like we need all the allergy information, need all the vital sign information, then the outpatient pharmacy, then we will need the standardization for all the things. You can see that the allergy, some drug information, the IS norm is for the drug, and the UMLS is the Unified Medical Language System. That is developed by NLM, National Library of Medicine. I think the UMLS is the most general dictionary to cover everything. So I believe the IS norm and the NDFRT NDFRT is also a subset of pharmacology. It's all covered by UMLS. So if in the future, if you want to create some drug, some medical terminology, you can just use the UMLS. And also the SNOMED and the LOINC is also part of the UMLS. So we don't, yeah, because so far none of you are, your work will utilize the natural language processing. So we didn't talk about too much about how you can use the tool from UMLS, like the MetaMap, to convert the free text into the coded terminology. But just remember, if in the future your work will need the standardized terminology, the UMLs is something you can look up. I think you can just apply online, then you can get all the UMLs dictionary from NLM. Then the pharmacy, again, the RS norm and the problem list, I think the ICD-9, ICD-10, SNOMED, there are lots of discussion if we really want to talk about the information about the clinical thing. And the TRU document, we can use the LOINC. Then that's another thing is the automation, patient safety and consistency. That is, if you read the Jessica provided that paper, that paper is written by Brigham Young, the Brigham Women Hospital from the Harvard affiliate hospital. They mentioned that we can create a smart prescription system, but the most important thing is we need to improve the patient safety and the consistency. So you can imagine that always Jessica, she can create a smart prescription system, but the most important thing, the system should, the correctness and the consistency is very important. So you can imagine that in United States, if any new drug or new medical device, if they are going to be sold to hospital, they need to be regulated by the FDA. So there's one time there's a discussion that in the hospital, is there any company or the institution they want to create a clinical decision support system? Then those clinical decision support system should be regulated by FDA. Yeah, you can think about that. I think that is reasonable, but the problem is the FDA, maybe they, because those things are, it's still very new. So even, for example, Jessica, she created a smart prescription system, but maybe she is the most expert all over the world. So the FDA don't know how to regulate it. So there are that kind of discussion that, and the FDA raised that kind of concern about regulating this kind of clinical decision support system. But let's see that. But so far, I really don't see any that kind of serious discussion about that. Raise the concern about FDA are going to regulate that kind of clinical decision support system. But I think for the academic perspective, that kind of system is important because if you can create a smart prescription system, then you also can provide a framework how you evaluate it. And I think that is something worth it to do it. Okay, so after you create that kind of system, the legacy system, here their strategy is they just all transform, clean all the legacy data, then just use the standardized code stored in the new system. But there is no need. You just need to clean all the old information. But in this case, they try to do the both way. For the allergy data, I think the allergy data is kind of small and easy. So they just clean up, then all transform into a new information and store in the HDR. But for some local node and something, I guess it's not, it's more complicated one. They just map into the enterprise standard. But I guess they just map some existing one, and for some rest of them, if cannot map, they just leave it there. So I think that is mostly the practical use. Then I think the vital sign is easy. They just standardize and store in their HDR. And the pharmacy, I remember the Arsenal, maybe Arsenal is they work with the 3M. I think maybe the Arsenal is they contribute it to the NLM. So I think they already transform all the allergy data into the standard terminology. So they can easily share with the Department of Defense. I think in Taiwan, we have this the pharma cloud. Every patient, when they go to the hospital, all the doctor can view their drug use from other hospital. And I remember, but I don't remember. I think we don't cover that kind of allergy data from that. So, but we believe, because in Taiwan we developed the pharma cloud. So the Department of Health, the NIH, they say that they do control the prescription. For example, if you go into the Shanghai hospital today, you already took the hypertensive drug, then you go to the next hospital, then if you still have the hypertension drug, then right now, because you can check the drug history from the pharma card, so you have the obligation that you need to make sure you didn't prescribe the duplicate drug. So that is a good strategy that the NIH can save the budget for the drug expense. But I think the good thing is in Taiwan, we have that kind of regulation. We have a single company owned by the NIH control the insurance. Then they have that kind of force. They can require all the hospital need to sometimes we call this term called drug pharmacy reconciliation. You need to check the drug use before. So I guess there are a lot of things we can work. For example, I'm thinking the laboratory data is another interesting to do. Oh, don't forget to mention about the PAC system. we in Taiwan, the government spend lots of money for standardize the image system. So currently, it's quite easy. The patient they can carry their own MRI, CT scan, chest X-ray, those images that on a CD-ROM. They can easily carry their clinical image and go to a different place. So if you are interested about those kind of standardization, personally, I think, for example, I'm interested. We can pursue. We can. Right now, we have the pharma cloud, so maybe we can have a laboratory cloud. So every laboratory, yeah, can store on the cloud, and that is very useful. I think the Google Health, but right now, the Google, they try to do the same thing, but they just shut down it because the health data is just kind of sensitive. But the Apple, Google failed. But think about Apple. They have the Apple Watch. They have the Apple Health. So that is something. But I think it's some active developed area that you can share that kind of information. So the color reflect the different status of the development. The green one is the easy one; they already implemented. Then the orange one is under development, and the yellow one is the ongoing one. But my personally understanding, I think the green orange one mostly are the implement in most hospital right now. We have those implement. So if you are, I think the clinical procedure is something we need right now. So if you are, that is something we say that is complicated. For example, the nursing, if they do the evaluation on patient, they give the drug, they check the body weight, and those clinical procedure is still very complicated thing. Imagine even just the ICD-9, ICD-10, or laboratory. That is the simplest example about clinical data, but we still having many trouble. So if you are really pursuing some new technology, some new field that nobody did before, I think I would encourage you to do the clinical procedure, because I know, for example, the LOINC, they have the particular set for document the clinical procedure. So nobody know how to do that. So just like almost 7 years ago, I published a paper about how to use the LOINC to report the laboratory data. Then right now it's become a frequently cited paper that if people talking about the laboratory, they were citing my paper. So if you are interested about the, for example, Jackie, he is also a physician. If he interested some particular domain, like for example, how to document the uremia patient, their ability, or like the spine. In my department, we have the spine patient, how you document their pain score, or their SF-36 score. That is, nobody know how to do that. So if you can provide an example and you evaluate, that would become a good paper. So that's something worth to do. Okay, So here is some the responsibility for each team, like the authoritative source, the standard terminology. It's not free. For example, we have the discussion about the snowman. Because Taiwan is a complicated issue, because I think you need to pay the money by nation, then you can utilize the snowman for free. But they are a very complicated issue that Taiwan, we just cannot pay the money for the NLM. So we cannot just, we hope we can um, pay the money for using the snowman, but we having some problem. And I remember the price is around 3 million. It based on the population that to pay that. But there's some discuss. The 3 million NT dollar is not kind of expensive, but just some political issue that our government don't pay, or it's don't pay or can pay. I am not sure. We just cannot use the snowman as a standard terminology. My senior, our Taiwan VA system, they have that kind of argument that because they want to use the snowman, but we just cannot use it legally. So that is some thing we are having trouble. But low-income is okay. Low-income is for non-profit. If you not profit, it's okay. So we need a repository for standardized terminology. We talk about we need some terminology service tool and the quality assurance. That's what I did for an update maintenance. And we need a good roadmap. But you know, the last class I talked about the roadmap about the CDC using the low-income. But we need a roadmap for using that, because always there is the new terminology created, then there are some update version, then there are some erroneous, then you need to correct it. So we will need a way to maintain it. But so far we don't have too much experience about that. So for my CDC low-income mapping experience, we try to write a paper. We try to provide a roadmap. If you are like a nationwide and multi-institution adopting a standard terminology, how you adopt it and how to ease the step, how you maintain it. So that is something roadmap we think that is worth it to share with people. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Okay, so the standard terminology, I think we have some introduction about SNOMED, ICD-9, National Drug Code, different code, so we don't go through it again. So the challenges for time, I think we already covered that. We don't have tool. Actually, personally, I create some low-income mapping tool. I think that this can be useful. So yeah, the organization maintenance is important because they could easily make a mistake. I think I already show you that even the low-income, they can easily have a very funny mapping error. So so there's a different business need for using the terminology and the legacy consideration. I think each time when the hospital creates system, we will deal with the legacy. Yeah, so we always. So here is some detail about when that's the VA, if they want to develop a system to enter with the VA, they need to go through a quality assurance process. That is another popular thing that I do. I remember is last year I joined the JCMIT. I think the NTU, there's one lady is the head of nurse from the NTU hospital. Because they just launched their nursing information system, so they do provide a quality assurance process. They try to evaluate the usability about their current nursing information system and try to do the feedback to the IT office. So the quality assurance process is something I always try to do that. But I believe in Taiwan, maybe back to the Bangladesh in the future, I think is one hospital, they probably cannot pay one group to do the quality assurance for that. But probably there is maybe a company or it's kind of association that I think in Taiwan we try to do is kind of like a association. For example, Zhiyang and me, we try to provide a quality assurance process for all the loan process. So you can imagine in Taiwan, you cannot train one expert just to do the quality assurance for the loan. But if the Zhiyang, he can do on one hospital, then probably he can do 10 hospital and have better quality, that kind of thing. So you can think about the quality assurance in different country, in different setting. They have a different setting. And we know that the development always timely and always talk about the scalability. So in the VA system, I think they will more emphasize on the scalability and reliability. So they will put more energy and resource on discussion that. But for normal scale, like our hospital, we only have 3. So we compare to the VA system, we are not really care about. I think the priority is lower. Okay, so how to? I think the 4. I think it's here also mentioned some important thing is I think the rapid development. So I think all of you, did you hear about the FIRE, THIR? The FIRE system is a standard created by let me show you. The PFHIR. It called Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resource because the HL7, they persuade people to adopt the HL7 to create the health information standard. But the problem is it takes a long time to adopt this kind of technology. And currently there are a couple main issues. The first one is right now we have internet. And the second thing is we believe the HTTP, or sometimes we call web-based is the best environment can be distributed to different institutions. So the FHIR standardization is based on the internet and the web browser to implement the healthcare system. And before the FHIR, there's another thing they developed by Harvard called Smart Platform. I think I previously showed you the Smart Platform. They just want to create a standardized platform for yeah, maybe I will check. So basically, it's all web-based. They, for example, the Jessica, she created a smart prescription system. She want to disseminate her system into different hospitals. So you can imagine that if you want to implement on different hospitals, they need to deal with a lot of internal structure, data structure, semantic interoperability, that kind of thing. So the smart platform and the FHIR platform, they are all try to solve this kind of complicated, sophisticated. So the ideal goal is after hospital, they implement, like they adopt the FHIR or the smart system, then all the subsystem create based on that, they can easily move from one hospital to another hospital. So if you are interested about those software development, you can take a look at the FHIR and the smart platform. Okay, so okay, so the standard tool. So yeah, I think for those standard terminology, we will need a standard tool to handle those terminology mapping, those issues. And the quality assurance process. I think in here there is, for example, the new content, they were reviewed by two terminologists. And so they need to go through some evaluation process to make sure the thing is well designed. And the maintenance, I think we already covered that. We know the long ICD 9, ICD 10, they are still changed actively. So we maintain the structure. So far, I didn't read any good paper about talking about the maintenance. They just realize it's important, but people didn't reach this step yet because right now people are still struggling on do the mapping. They don't have time to think about they didn't talk about the how to maintenance, but actually when we doing the project with CAC, we have some maintenance issue because we do that project with 2014, 2015, and 2016. We have a discussion that because we release some official mapping based on different version, then actually the loan committee they change the code a lot. They have some changing because our recommendation. So actually we have that kind of discussion that do we need to map actually in different year we the loan code are mapping to different version. I remember is they at least there are 3 or 4 version different. But after discussion, my suggestion is we all use the first version, the oldest version, because then every hospital they just all based on the first version, the oldest version. So that's mean my strategy is we will wait for maybe four years later after loan code. Loan committee they already distributed the stable version. Then then all the hospital we can just move from the oldest version to the latest one. If the first year mapping to A version and the second year map to the B version, then the third year map to the C version, and all the worst scenario is every year they map to a different loan code. Then that would become the strategy that we cannot just write a program that convert all the loan code to the latest loan code. So yeah, so far there's no much discussion about that, but the maintenance is a big issue. So probably it's about time. I know the Rubel, you need to leave around 5 o'clock. So that's probably the work for today. So do you have any question regarding today's material? Okay, no? Okay, so probably I'm thinking, yeah, previously I said that we will in between of the class, in between the semester, we will go out for the dinner. So probably we will do that next week. Okay, so it's around maybe the next Wednesday night. Okay. Okay, so I will send out the time and the place. So probably the next week, we have some casual affair that we can go out some restaurant for dinner and then discuss some coursework. Okay. 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 So yeah, if you have any question, just send me the email or post it on the line. Okay. 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 Bye bye for today. Bye bye.
Bye.